Washington will be having a ball on Monday night, 2 inaugural balls in fact, but that is a far cry from the good old days for D.C. society. Joining us now is someone who knows all those days very well. Sally Quinn of the Washington Post joins us now. Great to have you with us, Sally. Good morning.
Glad to be here.
So back in '09, it was 10, and now you have 2 inaugural balls. Why the change? Is it the economy or is it something else?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the economy and the fact that it's the second inauguration and most people don't have the same excitement about they're having one, but it is 40,000 people.
Sure.
And it's going to be a crush, I can only tell you that. And if you get a peanut or a pretzel, you're really lucky.
When the Obamas came to Washington, a lot of people thought it was going to be sort of the second coming of Camelot, and there was going to be a fabulous sort of social swirl around the Obamas. Has that happened?
They were really expecting excitement, and they were expecting to see the Obamas around town and to be invited to the White House and all of that. No, it has not happened. Somebody was asking me what the social life was like in Washington. And I said, well, there is no social life in Washington. It's like little tiny duchies all over the city where people have their own little friends and they see each other. But there's no kind of expansive social life that revolves around the White House.
Is that unusual?
Yes. You know, it's gotten more like that. But George Bush Jr., W., did entertain. They entertained quite a bit, and they often went out. He was famous for going to bed at 9:30, but at least he would go out. But the Obamas don't go out, and they don't entertain. And very few people in Washington I know have been to the White House, and very few people have seen them outside of the White House. They don't accept invitations outside of the White House, except for their very small inner circle.
How does the city feel about that? Because from everything I've heard, things don't really get done in the building behind us. They're getting done at these parties because people have this camaraderie that they establish from going out together.
You know, people will always say, oh, well, the Washington social scene is so frivolous. But the fact is that there's a lot of business that does get done in the evening. And you know, when you sit across the table from somebody and you have a glass of wine and you eat a meal and you talk about your family and your children and your personal life, you can't help but have some sort of connection with that person.
Becomes a person and not an adversary.
Yeah, because it looks, you know, that's a real human being now. It's not just somebody over there who disagrees with me. And
but Sally,
that makes a huge difference.
Are Republicans upset about this or Democrats? Or both?
Well, actually, Democrats are more upset because it's a Democratic administration, and so the Democrats expect to be folded in and invited and be part of the community. And so when they're not, they get more upset than the Republicans don't expect to be included. But the Democrats do. I mean, when the Clintons were in the White House, they were actually criticized for over entertaining. I mean, they would have tents on the lawn with 700 and 800 people, and they were having people all over the place, and they were going out, and you know, so enough already.
It was a different world. Sally Quinn,
but
thank you.
Very different.